In a world that never stops talking, silence has become a rare form of power. We live in an era that glorifies noise, an era of opinions shouted louder than truths, of egos louder than actions. In this age of endless notifications, distractions, and performance, restraint seems counterintuitive. But what if I told you that true power, real, unshakable power, lies not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself? The Stoics knew this over 2,000 years ago, and yet their wisdom feels more relevant today than ever. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, ruled the most powerful empire on earth, yet wrote about humility, silence, and inner peace. Epictetus, born a slave, taught that no man is free unless he has control over his mind. Seneca, a statesman and advisor to emperors, believed that silence could speak louder than rhetoric. They didn't chase applause. They didn't react to every insult. They didn't allow the chaos outside to rule the calm inside. They disciplined their minds. They chose silence when words weren't necessary, and in doing so, they earned something far more valuable than attention. They earned respect. This isn't about pretending to be stoic or cold. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need to be loud to be heard. Someone whose presence speaks for itself. It's about cultivating the kind of internal strength that demands no validation. The kind that inspires, leads, and commands trust, without a single word. In this video, we're going to walk the path of the Stoics. We'll explore how to discipline your thoughts, practice meaningful silence, and how, when you do, respect doesn't have to be asked for. It simply follows. So, take a deep breath. Let the noise fade, and let's begin. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Mental Discipline. Discipline doesn't begin with action. It begins with thought. Before a single word leaves your lips, before you lift a finger or take a step, it all starts in the mind. If your thoughts are scattered, reactive, and fragile, then your actions will follow that same pattern. But if your mind is calm, ordered, and disciplined, your life will begin to reflect that strength. This is the bedrock of Stoicism, the belief that we can't always control what happens outside of us, but we can always control what happens within. You cannot control the world, but you can master your response to it. Life throws chaos at all of us. You'll be misunderstood. You'll face disrespect. You'll encounter failure, loss, confusion. And in those moments, the world will tempt you to respond with impulsive emotion, anger, fear, ego. But those who are mentally disciplined don't react just to feel powerful. They pause, they observe, and they respond from a place of clarity. That pause is what separates a wise man from a reckless one. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Those aren't just poetic words from a long-dead emperor. They're a call to take ownership over your inner life. And in a world where everyone is looking to blame something or someone outside of themselves, that kind of ownership stands out like fire in the dark. Mental discipline is the art of not letting the external world dictate your internal state. Understand your emotions, but don't let them own you. Stoicism is not about becoming emotionless. That's a common myth. The Stoic doesn't run from feelings. He recognizes them, studies them, and decides how to respond with reason, not instinct. When anger rises, he doesn't lash out. When fear appears, he doesn't retreat. He lets the emotion pass through him like a wave, and then moves forward with intention. That's what real control looks like. Train your mind with questions. When something triggers you, stop. Ask yourself, is this really important? Am I viewing this situation objectively? Will my reaction help me or harm me? These aren't just philosophical questions, they're tools. Tools to break the cycle of unconscious reaction. Tools to shift you from the passenger seat to the driver's seat of your mind. Use writing as a weapon of clarity. One of the most powerful ways to discipline your mind is through journaling. Marcus Aurelius did it. His private writings, what we now call meditations, weren't meant for public eyes. They were his way of staying grounded amid the madness of ruling an empire. Write down your thoughts. Reflect on your day. Question your assumptions. When your mind is on paper, it becomes easier to shape, refine, and control. Silence isn't empty. It's focused. You don't need to respond to every opinion. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. The more mentally disciplined you become, the less you'll feel the need to prove anything. And that silence, the kind rooted in confidence, not avoidance, carries an unmistakable strength. The mind that can remain still in chaos is a mind others instinctively respect. Discipline your thoughts, and your life will follow. This isn't about perfection. You will still falter. You will still get emotional. But with practice, those moments will become less frequent, less loud, and more importantly, less powerful over you. The world will continue to test your patience, but if your foundation is strong, you won't crumble. Lesson of this chapter: mental discipline isn't about controlling the world. It's about mastering the only thing that truly belongs to you, your own mind. When you begin to lead yourself with clarity, stillness, and thoughtfulness, others will follow. Not because you asked for their respect, but because you've earned it. Chapter 2: The Art of Embracing Silence. Silence is not the absence of words. It's the presence of power. In a noisy world, silence speaks louder than ever. Everyone is trying to be heard. Opinions flying from every corner. Anger wrapped in tweets. Validation hunted in likes. And in the middle of all that noise, the person who knows when not to speak, when to hold their ground in stillness, commands a different kind of respect. The Stoics didn't just practice restraint, they honored it. For the Stoics, silence wasn't just good manners. It was strategy. It was mastery. Seneca once wrote, "Speech is the mirror of the mind, and if that's true, then silence reveals even more. It shows discipline, control, and confidence." Because if your mind is clear and your purpose is firm, you don't need to fill the space with noise. Not everything deserves your response. Let that sink in. You are not obligated to answer every insult. You are not required to comment on every event. You don't owe your energy to every provocation that drifts across your path. When someone speaks from ego, trying to trigger yours, your silence denies them the reaction they crave. That's power. That's poise. And it's not passive, it's intentional. Silence trains your ego to sit down. Let's be honest. Sometimes we speak just to protect our pride, to prove we're right, to win. But mental strength doesn't need to win the argument. It needs to win the moment, and often that means choosing the quiet path. That's why silence can be so hard. It forces you to let go of ego, but when you do, something greater steps in. Clarity, composure, and respect that lasts longer than any clever comeback. Think before you speak. And sometimes, don't speak at all. There's a difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is fast, emotional, unfiltered. Responding is deliberate. It gives space for truth. And sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Silence gives you that space to breathe, to reflect, to decide what really needs to be said, if anything. Stillness builds presence. Have you ever been around someone who didn't say much, but when they finally did, everyone listened? That's not by accident. That's the result of cultivated stillness. People who are grounded in silence tend to carry weight when they speak, because their words are rare, thoughtful, intentional. They don't chase attention. They attract it. Use silence as a form of listening. We often hear people speak just to wait for their turn. But real silence means listening, deeply, fully, without thinking of your next move. That kind of silence builds connection. It earns trust. It allows people to feel seen. And the truth is, the more you listen, the more you learn. The world reveals its patterns, its wisdom, its openings, only to those who are quiet enough to notice. Silence is a boundary, and it's a shield. Not everything deserves a reaction. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Silence becomes a way of guarding your peace, of holding your ground without fighting, of preserving your energy for battles that actually matter. And in a culture obsessed with instant responses and digital noise, choosing silence is an act of rebellion and wisdom. Speak only when your words are better than your silence. That should be the test. Before you respond, ask yourself, will what I say improve this moment? Will it bring clarity, kindness, strength? Or is it just my ego wanting a hit of validation? When you pass that test, your words will carry weight. People will begin to notice you don't speak to be heard, you speak to be understood. That's a difference they feel. Lesson of this chapter: silence isn't weakness, it's discipline. It's the space where wisdom grows, where ego fades, and where real strength begins. The Stoic doesn't fear silence. He resides in it. And in doing so, he becomes a quiet force others can't ignore. Chapter 3. Commanding respect through presence. Respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you embody. In a world full of noise, bravado, and self-promotion, true respect doesn't come from shouting the loudest. It comes from the quiet, undeniable presence of someone who knows who they are, without needing to explain it. Presence is silent authority. It's not about how much you say, but the weight behind your being. Your energy enters the room before your voice does. People feel you before they hear you. Think about the individuals who walk into a room and, without a single word, shift the energy. They don't demand attention, they command it. That kind of presence is built, not born. It's forged through discipline, silence, and a deep alignment between your values and your actions. Presence is the product of alignment. When your thoughts, your words, and your actions are in harmony, you move differently. You carry yourself with quiet conviction. You don't need to prove anything because you live your truth, and people respect that. They may not always agree with you, but they respect someone who is grounded, consistent, and unwavering. Stillness becomes your strength. There's a certain power in stillness, not the kind that comes from doing nothing, but from doing only what is necessary. From choosing your moves with precision, from speaking only when there's real substance behind the words. That kind of restraint, that intention, builds trust. And where there is trust, respect naturally follows. People trust what they can feel is real. We live in a world where everyone's trying to look important, trying to brand themselves. But here's the truth. Real recognizes real. You can't fake presence. You can't manufacture authenticity. When you're fully rooted in who you are, when your actions speak louder than your image, people sense that, and they respond to it. Don't chase approval. Cultivate presence. The moment you start needing respect is the moment you start losing it. Because respect isn't given to the desperate, it's given to the disciplined. You don't earn it by begging. You earn it by being, by doing the hard internal work when no one's watching, by holding your own standard. That quiet, inner stability, that's what people notice. Speak less, mean more. The person who speaks rarely but with weight carries more influence than the one who talks all day. It's not about having the most words, it's about having the right ones. When you speak with intention, when your words are backed by presence, people lean in. They don't just hear you, they feel you. Presence is built in solitude. This might surprise you, but the kind of presence that commands respect is often shaped in silence, in solitude, in the places where no one else is looking. It's when you face your doubts, sit with your flaws, push through the noise of your own mind. That inner mastery, the quiet strength you develop there, it radiates outward. Let your actions be louder than your opinions. Anyone can talk. Most people do. But what separates the ones we respect from the rest is consistency, integrity, accountability. Those are rare in today's world, and when you carry them, people notice. You don't need to announce your standards. You live them, and that alone earns more respect than any speech ever could. Respect is not demanded. It's attracted. It's attracted to those who move with intention, who carry themselves with calm authority, who listen more than they speak, who choose silence when ego wants attention, who show up fully, authentically, and consistently. That kind of presence doesn't just command respect. It makes people feel safe, inspired, and challenged to rise to their own higher standard. Lesson of this chapter: respect follows those who follow themselves. When you live in alignment, when you master your silence, when you carry yourself with grounded presence, you don't need to chase respect. It finds you, it follows you, because you've become someone worth following. Chapter 4. The dichotomy of control. There are only two categories: what you control and what you don't. This is the heart of Stoicism. It sounds simple, but most people live in reverse, worrying about things they can't touch, while neglecting what they actually can shape: their thoughts, their actions, their responses. Once you understand the dichotomy of control, life gets quieter. Not because the world stops being chaotic, but because you stop trying to control the chaos. You are responsible for your intention, not the outcome. You can prepare. You can act with clarity. You can give everything your best. But once the arrow leaves your bow, the outcome is no longer yours. It might land where you aimed, or it might not. The Stoic accepts this. You show up fully for the moment, and then you let go of the result. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Worry is wasted energy. Every time you obsess over someone else's opinion, or the economy, or the weather, you're giving your energy to things outside your influence. That's like trying to control the tide with your bare hands. It's not only exhausting, it's pointless. True strength lies in recentering, in taking your power back and focusing only on the circle you do command. Peace begins where control ends. When you stop trying to manipulate every detail, something shifts. You begin to breathe deeper. You begin to act more deliberately. You become less reactive and more grounded. That doesn't mean you give up. It means you become smarter with your energy. Less scattered, more focused. More alive in what you can shape. You control your effort. You don't control the applause. In a culture that's obsessed with likes, followers, and validation, Stoicism reminds us, do the work for the work itself. Build because you love to build. Speak because it's true, not because it's popular. The applause may or may not come, but that was never the point. The point is to live with honor, regardless of who's watching. Most suffering comes from resisting what is. Think about it. Pain is inevitable. But suffering? That's often a product of our own refusal to accept reality. The Stoics didn't believe in passive submission. They believed in active acceptance. That means seeing things clearly, adapting quickly, and choosing to move forward, no matter what life throws at you. What's outside your control is also outside your responsibility. You don't owe the world control. You don't owe anyone perfection. You owe yourself one thing, to respond with clarity, with calm, and with courage. That's it. If something's out of your hands, let it go. Not out of apathy, but out of understanding. That's how you protect your peace. Freedom isn't found in having control, it's found in letting go. Real power isn't about control over others, or even over circumstances. It's about emotional sovereignty. It's about owning your choices in any situation, especially when things go sideways. That inner steadiness, that's what makes you unshakable. The Stoic mindset trains you for reality. You won't always get what you want. People will disappoint you. Plans will change. Life will test you. But when you stop fighting what you can't control and start mastering what you can, your mindset becomes your shield, and your silence becomes your edge. Lesson of this chapter: focus on the internal, release the external. Master your thoughts, govern your habits, align your actions, and let the rest fall where it may. That's not giving up, it's leveling up, because the one who masters themselves has already mastered the world. Chapter 5. Daily Practices for Stoic Discipline. Start your day with intention. The first moments of the morning set the tone for the rest of the day. A Stoic doesn't stumble out of bed and react to whatever comes next. They take a few quiet moments to center themselves. Before the world demands anything from you, take a deep breath, focus on what you can control, and remind yourself of the bigger picture. Life will try to pull you in 100 different directions, but if you ground yourself first, you will move through the day with purpose. Morning reflection. What's in my control today? Every day is an opportunity to practice Stoicism. As you open your eyes, ask yourself, what can I control today? Focus on your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. Everything external, the weather, the traffic, the opinions of others, is outside of your control. But how you respond, that's where your power lies. This moment of clarity in the morning becomes your foundation, preparing you for whatever comes your way. Prepare for adversity. A Stoic knows that life is filled with challenges. No day is without obstacles, big or small. Instead of hoping for an easy ride, embrace the idea of adversity as a teacher. The Stoic practices a form of negative visualization, imagining potential setbacks or difficulties before they occur. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. By mentally rehearsing the difficulties you might face, you become less rattled when they happen. You are ready. Your discipline allows you to meet hardship with resilience. Pause before reacting. In a world where reactions are quick and emotions run high, the Stoic takes a beat before responding. When faced with conflict, irritation, or frustration, pause. Ask yourself, how would a Stoic respond? This moment of stillness before action is powerful. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about giving yourself the space to choose your response. When you act with thought, you command your reactions, and this brings you closer to peace. Focus on your actions, not outcomes. The Stoic focuses on doing their duty to the best of their ability, not on what they will gain from it. Whether it's your work, your relationships, or your personal goals, give your best effort without obsessing over the result. The outcome is often beyond your control, but the quality of your effort is always yours to command. This practice of detachment from results doesn't mean you lack ambition. It means you've learned to value the process over the product. Success is found in the work itself. End your day with reflection. Just as you begin your day with intention, you should end it with reflection. Take a moment to review your actions. Where did you succeed in applying Stoic discipline? Where did you fall short? What could you have done differently? This daily review helps you learn from each day and grow stronger. It's a practice of self-awareness, not self-criticism. The goal is to understand your own mind, so you can refine your actions the next day. Journal to clarify your thoughts. Stoic philosophers often kept journals as a way to clarify their thoughts and refine their practice. Writing isn't just about reflecting, it's about externalizing your internal dialogue. The act of journaling helps you understand your emotions, track your growth, and solidify the principles you want to live by. Each entry is a conversation with yourself, where you can hold yourself accountable, refine your intentions, and cultivate a clearer path forward. Make it a habit. Write down your thoughts at the end of the day, and over time, you'll see how far you've come. Cultivate mindfulness in your actions. The Stoic doesn't just practice discipline in grand moments, they practice it in the everyday. Whether it's how you eat, how you speak, or how you listen, being fully present in the moment is key. There's no such thing as a small action in Stoicism. Every moment is an opportunity to practice your discipline. If you're washing dishes, wash them with care. If you're listening to someone, truly listen. These small moments compound over time, shaping your character and reinforcing your Stoic practices. Embrace discomfort. The Stoic doesn't seek comfort for its own sake. Instead, they recognize that growth comes from pushing through discomfort. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, discomfort is a gateway to strength. Practice embracing it daily. Push your body with exercise. Challenge your mind with new ideas or difficult tasks. Face your fears, even in small ways. In doing so, you learn to control your impulses, become resilient in the face of adversity, and move toward a more disciplined, focused life. Gratitude for what you have. Lastly, practice gratitude. In a world that often focuses on what we lack, the Stoic understands the power of appreciating what is present. By cultivating gratitude, you remind yourself of all that you already have, which anchors you in the present moment. Gratitude transforms your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from frustration to peace. When you are grateful, you need nothing more than what you already possess, and that is freedom. The daily practice of Stoic discipline. Stoicism isn't something you master overnight. It's a practice, one that you apply daily. Each of these habits, starting your day with intention, preparing for adversity, journaling, and cultivating mindfulness, are not just routines. They are pathways to self-mastery. They are the tools you use to create the life you want, no matter what comes your way. These practices won't eliminate challenges or discomfort, but they will give you the strength to handle them with grace and discipline. And that, in itself, is one of the greatest rewards of living a Stoic life. Chapter 6. Lessons from Stoic Philosophers. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor's Wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most famous Stoic philosopher, was also a Roman emperor. His life was filled with hardship, wars, betrayals, and personal loss. Yet, in his meditations, he offers a blueprint for inner peace amidst chaos. One of his most powerful lessons is that our thoughts are what shape our reality, not external events. He teaches us to control our mind and to approach life with rationality, instead of reacting impulsively to circumstances. You have power over your mind, not outside events, he reminds us. By focusing on our inner thoughts, we become impervious to the turbulence of the outside world. Marcus Aurelius was a man who ruled an empire, yet he remained committed to his personal growth and wisdom. He reminds us that true power lies within. Epictetus, the freedom of self-control. Epictetus, born into slavery, knew firsthand the suffering that comes from being controlled by circumstances. Yet, he emerged as one of the most influential Stoic thinkers. His message was simple but profound. We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. He focused on the distinction between things that are within our control and things that are not. Epictetus emphasizes that our ability to control our reactions is the key to freedom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. His teachings remind us that, no matter what life throws at us, we have the power to choose our response. Through this control, we gain true freedom, the freedom to live according to our values, without being swayed by external forces. Seneca, the wisdom of time. Seneca, a statesman, playwright, and philosopher, offers a striking perspective on life's brevity. His letters to Lucilius are filled with insights on how to use time wisely. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. He challenges us to reconsider how we spend our days, urging us to live with purpose and intention. Seneca emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment, not waiting for the perfect time to start living. By making the most of each moment, we ensure that our life is both meaningful and fulfilling. He also highlights the necessity of mastering our desires and focusing on what truly matters. For Seneca, true wealth is not in material things, but in the time we have and how we choose to spend it. Zeno of Citium, the birth of Stoicism. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, set the foundation for what would become one of the most enduring philosophies of all time. He believed that the key to a good life was to live in accordance with nature, and he taught that the universe is governed by a rational order. Zeno's primary lesson is that we must cultivate virtue in all aspects of our lives: courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. Stoicism isn't about escaping from the world, but about embracing it with a sense of purpose and resilience. By aligning ourselves with nature's order, we not only find peace but also discover a deep sense of fulfillment. Zeno's teachings remind us that virtue, not pleasure or success, is the ultimate goal. Musonius Rufus, the practical Stoic. Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher who lived during the reign of Nero, was known for his practical approach to philosophy. Unlike many philosophers who emphasized theoretical concepts, Musonius was deeply concerned with how Stoic principles could be applied to daily life. He believed that philosophy should not remain an abstract pursuit, but should directly shape how we live, how we work, and how we interact with others. For Musonius, the Stoic life was about making wise decisions in every situation, regardless of how small or large. One of his key lessons is that happiness and virtue lie in living with self-discipline and integrity, not in external success or material wealth. Lessons of endurance, Stoics, and suffering. A common thread among the Stoic philosophers is their approach to suffering. They did not shy away from hardship, but instead sought to understand it and endure it with dignity. Stoicism teaches us that pain and adversity are inevitable, but they do not define us. It is our response to suffering that determines our character. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it, said Epicurus. Seneca, too, teaches that suffering can be a source of strength. By facing life's challenges head-on and with composure, we develop resilience. Stoics did not seek to avoid suffering, but to accept it as part of life's natural course, learning from it and growing stronger with each trial. The Stoic call to action, living virtue. At the heart of Stoicism is the concept of virtue. The Stoics did not believe that happiness could be found in external circumstances. Instead, they believed that true happiness comes from living in accordance with virtue. The Stoics identified 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues guide us toward a life of moral excellence. Wisdom teaches us to make sound decisions. Courage helps us face challenges without fear. Justice ensures we treat others with fairness. And temperance helps us control our desires. By cultivating these virtues, we live a life that is not dictated by external circumstances, but by our own inner strength and integrity. The legacy of Stoicism. The teachings of Stoic philosophers have had a lasting impact on history, influencing not only ancient thinkers, but also modern leaders, writers, and psychologists. The Stoic emphasis on self-discipline, emotional control, and rational thought resonates deeply in today's world. In a society that often values instant gratification and emotional reaction, the Stoic call for self-mastery and thoughtful reflection stands as a powerful antidote to chaos. Their lessons are timeless, offering guidance not only for surviving life's struggles, but for thriving in them. By embodying the principles taught by Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, and others, we can cultivate a life of purpose, resilience, and true fulfillment. Chapter 7. Transforming Challenges into Strength. The Stoic Perspective on Adversity. Life is unpredictable, and challenges are inevitable. In fact, the Stoic philosophers believed that obstacles are not only a part of life, they are an essential part of personal growth. Instead of fearing hardship or trying to avoid discomfort, Stoicism teaches us to embrace challenges as opportunities for strength. Adversity is not a punishment. It is a chance to refine our character. Each challenge, no matter how difficult, offers us the opportunity to practice patience, resilience, and wisdom. This mindset shifts our focus from being victims of circumstance to being masters of how we respond. When we reframe challenges in this way, we begin to see them as vital lessons, shaping us into stronger, more capable individuals. Embracing suffering as a tool for growth. The idea of suffering being transformative is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Both Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius emphasized that we should not shy away from difficulty, but rather lean into it. Suffering, when faced with the right mindset, can be a powerful teacher. The Stoics did not believe in avoiding pain or hardship. Instead, they believed in enduring them with dignity and using them as opportunities to refine our emotional and mental resilience. Epictetus famously said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," reminding us that much of the pain we feel is rooted in our own perception. By shifting our mindset, we transform suffering from something that weakens us into something that strengthens us. The power of perception. One of the key lessons Stoicism teaches us is that it is not the events themselves that harm us, but our perception of them. How we view a challenge determines how we experience it. The Stoic philosophers believed that by controlling our reactions and emotions, we could transform how we face adversity. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the idea that everything that happens is a part of nature, meaning that each difficulty is simply a part of the natural order of the universe. By accepting that obstacles are inevitable, we can approach them with calm and rationality, rather than with fear or anger. This ability to shift our perception from something negative to something neutral or even positive is what allows us to thrive in adversity. Building resilience through action. Resilience is not simply a passive trait. It is something we actively build through our actions and mindset. The Stoics believed that in order to develop resilience, we must engage with the world with purpose and determination. It is through facing challenges head-on that we become stronger. Instead of retreating from difficulty, the Stoics encouraged us to act with intention. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that every challenge he faced, whether in war or politics, was an opportunity to practice virtue. By confronting obstacles directly and working through them with resolve, we build mental and emotional fortitude. Resilience is forged in the fire of adversity, and it is through these trials that we gain the strength to handle even greater challenges in the future. The role of control in overcoming obstacles. The Stoic dichotomy of control, distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot, is another powerful tool in transforming challenges into strength. Many times the obstacles we face are not directly within our control, but how we respond to them certainly is. By focusing on our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we gain power over how we navigate life's challenges. This concept is echoed in the teachings of Epictetus, who argued that the only thing truly within our control is our own behavior and responses. When we accept the limits of our control and focus only on what we can influence, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. The more we practice this, the better we become at turning obstacles into opportunities for personal growth. The power of perseverance. Perseverance is the quality that allows us to keep going in the face of difficulty. It is through persistent effort that we overcome the most challenging circumstances. The Stoics believed that perseverance was a form of virtue, a sign of strength and integrity. When we keep pushing forward, even when the road seems uncertain or the odds are stacked against us, we develop not only resilience but also character. Every step we take in the face of difficulty is a victory in itself. The Stoics believe that we do not need to succeed immediately. What matters is our willingness to keep going. By focusing on progress, not perfection, we build a foundation of perseverance that can carry us through even the most trying times, transforming challenges into virtue. Ultimately, the Stoic approach to challenges is rooted in the belief that every difficulty we face offers us the opportunity to practice virtue. Whether it's courage, patience, or wisdom, challenges allow us to embody the Stoic virtues in real, tangible ways. By using adversity as a means to cultivate virtue, we transform hardship into something meaningful. For the Stoics, the goal was not to avoid challenges but to embrace them as opportunities to grow. Every obstacle is an invitation to practice living in accordance with our values, to build strength in the face of adversity, and to develop a deeper understanding of our own capabilities. In this way, even the most difficult challenges can become stepping stones toward greater wisdom and personal fulfillment. Turning challenges into strength, the Stoic legacy. The teachings of Stoicism offer us a timeless framework for dealing with life's challenges. By changing our perception, embracing suffering as a tool for growth, focusing on what we can control, and building resilience through action, we can transform obstacles into opportunities for strength. The Stoics teach us that no challenge is insurmountable when approached with the right mindset. In fact, it is through the crucible of difficulty that we discover our true strength. When we face life's challenges with determination, perseverance, and virtue, we emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable of navigating whatever life throws our way. Conclusion: the path to earned respect. Respect is not something we can demand, it is something we must earn. In a world where instant gratification often reigns supreme and superficial appearances can take precedence, the quiet strength of Stoicism offers us a more profound and lasting approach. True respect is not granted simply because we assert ourselves or seek attention. It is cultivated through our actions, our discipline, and the way we carry ourselves through life's challenges. As we've explored throughout this journey, the Stoic virtues of mental discipline, silence, resilience, and presence are the keys to this earned respect. The silent strength of discipline. Discipline is the bedrock of respect. Without it, all of our efforts and desires may remain scattered and unfulfilled. By mastering our mind, we gain control over our actions and emotions, allowing us to make decisions based on reason, not impulse. Stoicism teaches us that mental discipline is the true source of inner peace and strength. When we discipline our minds, we quiet the noise of the world, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. It is through this inner control that we demonstrate our respect for ourselves, and in turn, earn the respect of others. The power of silence. In our fast-paced world, silence can feel like a rare commodity. Yet, as we've seen, it is in silence that our most profound strength lies. The Stoic philosophers understood that our words are a reflection of our inner state. By embracing silence and speaking only when necessary, we project a presence that commands attention without the need for constant validation. Silence, in its most powerful form, conveys a quiet confidence and respect for both ourselves and the world around us. Through silence, we allow our actions and presence to speak louder than words, earning respect through the depth of our character rather than the volume of our speech. Resilience in the face of adversity. Life is filled with challenges, both expected and unexpected. The Stoic mindset teaches us that it is not the challenges themselves that define us, but how we choose to respond to them. Every obstacle is an opportunity to practice resilience, to turn hardship into growth. When we face difficulties with unwavering determination, we demonstrate strength not just in surviving, but in thriving despite adversity. This resilience, forged through Stoic principles, is what earns us the respect of those around us. People respect those who stand firm, even when the storms of life threaten to overwhelm them. Presence over perception. In a world often obsessed with appearances, the Stoic ideal reminds us that true respect is not about how we are perceived, but how we show up in the world. Presence is everything. It's not enough to simply go through the motions of life. Respect is earned when we live fully in the moment, present and engaged in whatever task we undertake. When we show up with purpose, focus, and commitment, we exude a quiet authority that naturally draws respect. Our presence becomes a testament to our integrity, our discipline, and our character, and people instinctively recognize the value in those who are truly present. Mastering what we can control. A fundamental principle of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. We cannot control the world, but we can control how we respond to it. True respect comes from within. It is the product of understanding our limits, accepting what we cannot change, and taking responsibility for what we can. When we stop wasting energy on things beyond our control, we become more effective in every aspect of our lives. By focusing on the internal, our thoughts, actions, and values, we earn the respect of others not by trying to control them, but by controlling ourselves with integrity. The journey of self-mastery. The path to earned respect is ultimately a journey of self-mastery. It is about refining ourselves day by day, moment by moment, to align our actions with our values. As we practice the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we begin to see that true respect is not something that is given to us from the outside, but something that we cultivate from within. Through constant self-reflection and deliberate effort, we transform ourselves into the kind of people who not only deserve respect, but who naturally attract it. The ripple effect of respect. When we earn respect through the quiet strength of Stoicism, we create a ripple effect that extends beyond ourselves. Respect begets respect. By living according to the principles of discipline, silence, resilience, and presence, we inspire those around us to do the same. Our actions, grounded in Stoic wisdom, serve as a model for others, showing them that true strength lies not in forceful assertions, but in the quiet, steadfast commitment to living a virtuous life. In this way, our journey toward self-mastery does not only transform us, it transforms the world around us as well. In the end, the path to earned respect is not a sprint, but a steady, unwavering commitment to living in accordance with our values. Through the quiet strength of Stoicism, we learn that respect is not something to be demanded, but something to be earned with each passing day. As we discipline our minds, embrace silence, build resilience, and remain present, we not only earn the respect of others, but, more importantly, earn our own respect, a respect that is the foundation of all true strength.